News Live and Gate City Bank present the Bison Football Show with head coach Chris Kleiman.
Hats off to you, Bison Nation. In the frigid temperatures, doing shirtless snow angels. Look at these guys, Coach. Wow. And inside the dome at game time, you guys brought your A game. But we challenge you to rest up because a powerful James Madison team has the plane idling to come to Fargo. They were having some fun. And, Coach, we welcome you to the set here, and congratulations on the win, but the crowd was great, wasn't it?
Oh, they were remarkable. It was deafening all game long, and when Grant Morgan had the big safety, boy, it was as loud as it was Georgia Southern loud right after that play, and obviously, hats off to our fans. They were phenomenal, and we got to do it again next Friday. And
your guys were ready to play. This was it was like the Montana situation last year where Montana won in the regular season, came here in the playoffs, and your guys were fired up.
Yeah, it was going to be hard to beat those guys yesterday. We were really a focus group, and they wanted another shot at the Jackrabbits and thought that we didn't play our best in mid-October and still had a chance to win. And so all those things kind of came together, and that was as dominant of a second-half performance as we've had. And really, you could take the last 3 quarters and say, that's as good a football as we've played in the last 3 quarters.
What'd you have to tweak from the first matchup to this one? What did you really want to do differently?
Well, offensively, we wanted to run the ball with some different creative styles. You know, we were running more of our power stuff the first time, and then we decided to run more of our zone stuff, quarterback run a little bit more. And then on defense, we just needed to get after the quarterback. We weren't going to let him just sit back there. They have tremendous weapons outside, and we challenged our guys, and I thought our guys did a really good job of covering, but we were not going to let the quarterback just sit back there.
Look at the time of possession, 19:52 to 10:08. That was a real sign of things to come. 5 of 6 on third down conversions. That is fantastic. 14-10, the Bison lead it at half. Before we get to the second half, on our Gate City Bank hot seat, Bruce Anderson. All right, Bruce, as a child, who was your favorite cartoon character?
I'll probably say Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Okay, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Definitely a morning person.
Okay, what is your favorite pro team?
Pro team, honestly, I don't really have a favorite pro team. I just like different players.
Who's your favorite player?
I'll probably say right now, it'll probably be Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
I like the style of run.
Yeah. Visit any place in the world, what would it be?
Probably I want to go back to Germany and experience my birthplace.
What is the worst household chore?
Definitely doing the dishes.
What is a weird habit you can't shake?
I don't really have habits I don't know about. If I mean, my mom might say something different about that, though.
That's good. What impresses you most about the Bison coaching staff?
Everybody's there to help everybody. You know, we do what we have to do to move the team and the program forward, and I love that about our coaching staff.
What's the one thing people don't know about you?
Probably that I was born in Germany. A lot of people don't know that. I was born overseas. My father was in the military, so I travel around a lot.
That's a good one. All right, thanks, Bruce. All right, Coach, at halftime, this looked like it was going to be a 4-quarter event.
Well, yeah, and we had some adversity at the end of the first half, and I just said, don't be defined by that moment. We're controlling the football game, and we think our best 30 minutes is ahead of us, and there wasn't any panic in anybody's eyes. We were down 10-0. Things weren't looking great, and all of a sudden we're up 14-10 and have all the momentum. And so our guys really felt good going in the second half.
So impressive. Time of possession, my goodness, 40 minutes to 19, 10 of 13 on third down. Just a focused, incredible effort by the Bison. Let's hear what the players had to say after the game.
You know, we have those opportunities. We got to take advantage of them, and guys executed and made some big plays on that drive and kind of grinded a couple out, and so that's a credit to the whole offense.
Until you start playing with a team that runs a power offense, you don't truly appreciate the rest that you do get on defense. Just seeing them march down the field is really big because it gives us more time to make adjustments. Coach Entz and the rest of the defensive coaches get more time to draw things up. And it's just also really kind of gives you a lot of extra motivation when you see them marching down the field. Gets you motivated to go out there and get a big stop the next series.
Stuff they beat us with the first game, we wasn't letting them beat us with it again. So we were prepared. Preparation was the final answer.
Today I just got an opportunity, and I was really excited to go out there and play with my brothers, and some holes opened up and I was able to make a couple plays.
We got after him, man. Our D-line did a great job all day just hassling the quarterback, and I'm proud of him.
You know, Bison Nation was huge today. The Dome was rocking, and it's a special place, and so really happy we'll be back here, and Friday or Saturday, whatever it is, and another opportunity to tee it up with our brothers, and really that's all you can ask for.
Great comments by the players. We like to get the opponent perspective here in the playoffs, and Jackrabbit coach John Sigelman, I thought very interesting, immediately in the postgame press conference referenced that 20-play drive and how demoralizing it was.
That type of football affects an entire program. It affects North Dakota State's defense with confidence. It affects their offense. It affects our defense and our offense.
We've been practicing third down calls all week, disguising stuff when we needed to, and they just executed and we didn't get off the field, and that was probably the main thing.
19 guys won't put on the pads again for us, which is hard, but I think we'll be ready to go next year. It's a long off season, which is one of the worst parts about football, is that we have to wait 9 months to put on the pads and play a game again. But we got a long off season. We're going to work hard, and we're going to come back next year stronger and better.
They're a football team just like we are. They put the pads on just like we do. So we embrace the challenge, and it was a step in our way for our goal this year. And when it was have to wait for next year, I guess.
Like I told Coach Kleiman, great luck, and I sincerely hope they go win the national championship because I think they're a really good football program and a classy program.
Good comments there. Well, this week's Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game is King Frazier.
Personally, you know, it was a great opportunity for us, and for me, myself, personally. I'm not a big fan of NDSU at all, and I'm pretty sure that none of my brothers are either, so I just feel like we came out today with a chip on our shoulder with something to prove. The first game really wasn't how we should have performed, and we came out and we did our thing today.
Way to run that football hard, King. Nice game for King Frazier. Outstanding physical running. Now, Pierre G. Tucker, obviously he warmed up, was suited up, went back in the locker room, could not go in this game. What do you expect from him this week?
Well, we're hopeful that he'll be back. He needs to practice a little bit this week, but we have to submit our roster, and you only can have 60, and so we end up taking Pierre out and putting Garrett Malmstrom in to have that 60th spot, but we're hopeful that Pierre can play. We think he'll be able to practice a little bit this week. That's
good. All the best to him. Hopefully he gets back on the field. Okay, let's take a look at this drive and put the numbers up there. The demoralizing drive that was just absolute Bison football. You look at the numbers, it's 20 plays, 82 yards, 12:09, 4 of 4 on third down. Got a couple of penalties on third down as well. There was a defensive holding and a pass interference as well. You ran it 14 times, only 31 yards, but those 14 runs just pound and pound and keep that defense out there.
Yeah, they really do. And our best defense against their offense is keeping them on the sideline. And you know, Coach Stig is right. It demoralizes a football team. And not only that, but that time of possession was a huge factor then in the second half, when we were able to continue that time of possession. Their guys are out there for a long time, and we were wearing on them up front. Great job by the Rams, and all their backs ran extremely hard.
And that was the time of the game where the defense needed to set a little bit, and you needed to tweak some things, so it allowed that. I mean, 12 minutes allowed you to really coach those guys.
Yeah, we think we took their best shot in that first quarter. We were down 10-0, but nobody panicked, and then we were able to get the touchdown, and then that next drive, we were able to get a stop, and then that next drive was what got us to 14-10, and it did. It settled down our defense to say, okay, this is going to, we're okay now. We're ready to go, and our offense was just starting to get cranked up.
All right, let's look at James Madison. We pulled some facts and figures out for you. They ran the table in a power conference. That's very respectable, hard to do. The 4 toughest road trips in that league are Maine, New Hampshire, Richmond, and Nova. They had all 4 of them. They won them all, so they can win on the road. Their offense, very dynamic, and the thing that I notice about a coach is their balance. They're not one-dimensional. They don't pass it all day. They don't run it all day. They do both fairly well.
Yeah, they really do. And like you said, they won their conference, which is an exceptional conference. And once again, we're getting a high-powered offense in here. It seems like every time you put something up, somebody's number one, whether it was South Dakota State, Eastern Washington, now JMU, and really great tradition at James Madison. So we'll have our hands full, and we have to have a great week of preparation.
And some of the players to watch, they have a great quarterback. His name's Brian Shore. Missed 1 game, but he's 74% completion rate. That's outstanding. Khalid Abdullah, he's a senior back, a 5-year guy. He's about at 1,400 yards for the season. And on defense, Andrew Ankara, outstanding defensive end. They also have a very good corner, but Shore was the Offensive Player of the Year in the CAA. Khalid Abdullah and Andrew Ankara, both first-team CAA guys. They also have a pretty big offensive lineman who was first-team All-CAA. This is a good team in a rich recruiting base, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great football team, really good, like you said, really good recruiting base. And I think if you and I would have talked when the playoffs started and you could have said 4 teams would be left, I think all of us would have said these 4 teams.
Yeah, I think the 4 best are left.
I do too. We know James Madison's extremely good. we've done. We all knew Youngstown was going to get Jacksonville State and then Eastern Washington. So I really do feel the best 4 are left, and you're going to get a true champion. You're going to have to earn it this year.
No doubt. It's going to be a battle on Friday night. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. But coming up, the future of Code Green, very, very bright. There's some good young players. We're going to talk about a few of those. Stay with us. In this segment, we are going to look at the bright future on the defensive side. Loads of young talent in the front 7 at both levels. One of the guys we highlight here was injured in practice this week, but the promise here is long-term. Alex Egan has this week's Olaf Anderson construction feature story.
On the Bison defensive line, the future is bright, with 2 redshirt freshmen just starting to make an impact for Code Green. Defensive ends coach Jamar Kane has nicknamed Cole Karch and Derek Tuska the Pound Puppies.
I think with those two guys, I mean, I think you got that position sold up for the next 3 to 4 years with those 2 guys, on top of a couple guys coming back next year, and those guys are gonna make those other guys have to work a little bit harder next year and the years after that, because those guys are gonna be really good players for us.
Karch has made the move to the inside of the defensive line this season, but Kane says there are times when they are watching film, and Karch reminds him of Kyle Emanuel, who also wore number 53. Now, Cole didn't choose to wear the same number, but he's happy to carry on the tradition.
I walked into the locker room and saw my name under that name, and I was like, he made a name for himself, and now it's my turn to make a name for myself. So,
while Karch is still working for playing time and getting better each week in practice, Derek Tuska has been seeing a few more snaps and recorded his first ever collegiate sack against Youngstown State.
At the beginning of the year, they said, I don't know how many snaps you're going to get because we have such a veteran defensive line group and a bunch of old guys. But the opportunities that I do have, the few snaps that I might be limited to, making the most of it and doing everything I can to keep getting put back out on that field.
And they aren't far away from earning more time, as Kane has everyone on the line on notice, letting them know if they don't perform, the Pound Puppies will take over.
I always tell those guys are waiting. They'll take your job. Like, don't play with me. I'll put those guys in, because Coach Kleiman wants those guys to play more. And I've been told he wants them to play more, but they're just not ready. They're close, but they're just not ready.
But when they are finally ready, Kane says the sky is the limit.
I'm telling you, at the end of this deal, one of those guys will be competing for somebody's sack record when it's all said and done.
For the Bison Football Show, I'm Alex Egan.
Well, some young talent there. Cole Karch suffered an injury last week, unfortunate for him, but he's had a really good year, and long-term looks very good.
Yeah, we're really strong at the offense and defensive line long-term, and that's how you build a foundation. That's how you build a great program, is the guys up front. And we're excited about all those guys. And Cole and Derek are going to be tremendous football players, and they're working into the rotation. Obviously, Cole's hurt, but Derek's working in the rotation, and the future's really bright.
Well, keeping with that theme for our Peterson Farm Seed Future Crop of Bison, we check back in with Jabril Cox. Cox is the prized recruit from the Kansas City area. This kid has the potential to be big time as early as next year, but even he admits the redshirt year and scout team work has been a really good decision.
It has helped me out mentally and physically. I was able to focus on my grades more and also put on weight, which if I didn't redshirt, I wasn't able to do. So redshirting this year was very helpful.
Well, it's hard not to get really excited about Jabril Cox, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's probably put on 20 to 25 pounds. He made 2 interceptions in the last 2 weeks that Coach Polisek's like, we can't stop that, because he's got such great length. He has great instincts, and he's a guy that will push for a lot of playing time next year as a redshirt freshman.
That's going to be fun to watch him. Well, the Dukes are coming to Fargo. James Madison, they came in 2011, new coaching staff, very different team, a better team. These guys are pretty good, folks. It's going to be a battle. Stay with us. We'll talk more about it. Well, Coach, in our Verizon look ahead, it's James Madison. It's a Friday night game. You know, we've had this Friday semifinal a lot. What do you think of it?
I really like it. I'm glad you and I were talking. They have the next one on Saturday night, so I'm really glad this is Friday. We're going to have some kids graduating in the afternoon, which is a special day for those young men, and then they get to play a semifinal game. There's not a lot of places in America you get to do that on the same day. So great challenge for us. Same formula. We need to be able to stay on the field offensively, And then on defense, we have to eliminate explosive plays and get that crowd involved. The crowd's going to be electric. I know they're going to be ready to cheer on the Bison, and we need them as loud as they can be this Friday night.
They bumped the game up an hour. It was usually been at 7 o'clock in the past. It's at 6 o'clock, so take note of that. And, Coach, looking at the bracket, we talked about it earlier. I think that's the 4 best teams left.
I don't think there's any question that those are the 4 best teams, and you have to earn your right to get to Frisco, and we have to have the task at hand, which is try to go 1-0 each day to have a chance on Friday night.
Yeah, whoever comes out of this Final Four and is holding that trophy down in Frisco is going to earn it.
Oh,
you are absolutely right. So it's going to be fun, folks. ESPN2 Friday night, Bison Radio Network all fired up. Fire up the dome. Fire it up. James Madison, not used to this kind of noise. Crank it up. The players need you. They'll feed off of it. Frisco is on the line this week. Enjoy it, everybody.